Hey foodies, it's Rebel Dietitian Dana McDonald. So in today's video, I wanted to address something with you guys regarding all of the misinformation out there that you guys see and read and then ask me to report back on. So today one of my followers asked me on YouTube, and in fact it's been asked to me several times, if I would do a video on food combining. And I've decided that I will do one, not today because I need to look into it more. I need to see what the theory is to kind of, that way I can either prove or disprove it with some scientific facts. But the thing that I think it's important that you guys understand is that most of the bloggers out there who are, writing up their diet protocols or recommending different nutritional plans or just anything, diet advice, most of those people have no training in nutrition whatsoever, period. A lot of them don't even have degrees, not even a degree in science. So you have to be very selective about what information you seek out and who you seek it out from, because most of these people are quacks, period. Okay, the stuff that they write is just insane. It just blows my mind. Most of the time they write this stuff because they're trying to sell you something. So whether it's a diet book or some, they're trying to gain followers or whatever it may be, they ultimately are pushing an agenda because it's something that they have created, or they've taken something from somebody else and tweaked it just a little bit so that they could put their, unique personality on it and make it their own. But the reality is nutrition, okay? The science is the science, okay? There's going to be a new diet out all the time, and you can't listen to these people who have no background in nutrition or science or medicine and take what they say as fact. The other day, someone shared a link on my Facebook page to a website called Mark's Daily Apple. I'm sure most of you have heard it. I don't know Mark. I don't care to know Mark. I looked at his credentials briefly. I know that he has a degree in biology, and that's it. He was a ultra endurance athlete, and that's great, okay? I played soccer too, but I'm a qualified healthcare professional. I'm a dietitian. Okay, so that's different. And my point in bringing this up is that I wanted to point out how flawed some of the information that can be out there is, and how important it is for you guys to understand that a lot of this is just gibberish, it's just nonsense, and the person is putting it out there because they're trying to sell you something. So you can't take it to heart, and you can't take what you're reading and assume that it's fact, because it's not. Okay, so on the website, the link that I received was regarding whole grains and fiber and gluten and phytic acid. So in the article that Mark wrote up, or whoever, somebody working for Mark wrote up, the article states that gluten and phytic acid are anti-nutrients, and they are. So that is a term that we use loosely to describe certain nutrients that are naturally found in plants. Okay, but the term itself is kind of a misnomer, because the nutrients phytic acid and gluten, those nutrients are also protective to health. So phytic acid, for instance, it reduces iron absorption, which is important because now a lot of papers that are being published by the science community, not bloggers, are coming out and they're saying that actually our level of iron in the human body is associated with an increased risk for diabetes. Okay, so here we have a nutrient in plants that reduces the absorption of iron. That sounds pretty magical to me. So maybe they should call it the magical nutrient, because plants are smarter than humans. So while I realize that anti-nutrients such as phytic acid may reduce mineral absorption, some minerals can become toxic to humans if they're consumed in super high amounts, and they may actually promote chronic disease. So while some of what he's saying is true, a lot of it is false. Okay, for instance, he says that dietary fiber can actually rupture your intestine. So I looked up the source that he cites. He cites Science Daily, and I pulled up the article, and I think the scientists would be, they might be kind of upset if they knew that he used the article in the way that he did, because he presents the science as the dietary fiber is detrimental to health because it scrapes your intestinal lining. He actually says rupture. And I got news for you, son. If anything ruptures your intestine, you better get your ass to the hospital, because that is a medical emergency. An intestinal perforation is deadly, okay? You can die from that. You can become septic and die, which means your body just develops a whole body infection. So the researchers were saying that the fiber sloughs the cells of the intestine off which is good because then that allows new cells to grow, and that's a natural process, right? So if I scratch my arm, I can slough off those cells, and that's good because new cells are underneath. Then he goes on to say he actually uses the word toxic. I am kind of concerned as to whether or not he understands what that means, because toxic means poison. So he's calling a natural nutrient found in plants toxic, a poison. That is absurd. Okay, Mark, you should be ashamed of yourself, because the information that you're disseminating is literally a threat to public health. While I realize you probably have good intentions, it's really sad that you are going around spreading misinformation to try to convince the public to purchase your paleo primal book, whatever. I understand you're trying to sell your book, but please don't call nutrients that are naturally found in plants toxic, okay? Phytic acid, for instance, is now being linked to reductions in risk for cancer and type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Okay, so how can you say that a natural ingredient or a natural nutrient in food is toxic in plants? Especially when we need those anti-nutrients to prevent our levels of minerals such as iron, which can become toxic, meaning deadly, poisonous, it can kill us, from becoming too high. Okay, so my point is that the amount of misinformation out there is really sad and scary. I feel sorry for you guys. That's why I do what I do. That's why I always share studies and try to put the evidence out there, because there really isn't a logical argument for a meat-dominant diet. Meat-dominant diets are destroying environmental health. They're destroying public health. Okay, they are wreaking havoc on everything. Okay, they've increased the risk for antimicrobial resistance, infections in humans. So it's really not good. And so for anyone to try to discourage someone from consuming plants, and let me be clear, phytic acid is not just found in wheat or whole grains. Okay, it's found in beans, legumes, nuts, seeds. You want to tell me that all those foods, those naturally occurring foods, are toxic? You should be ashamed of yourself. That is horrible. What a fool! I consume those foods all the time. Okay? There's no cases of phytate toxicity whatsoever, okay? It just really pisses me off when I see that kind of stuff, because it's just so ridiculous. You're not even a dietitian. You're not a doctor. All you are is a blogger. Please quit spreading misinformation. It makes my job that much harder.